Honorable Farah Maalim, who was the former Deputy Speaker of Kenyan Parliament and known for his imperialistic neo-colonial resistance in Africa, has appeared on OBN Africa and vividly spoke out on the ever-existed relationship between the US and the TPLF clique. He noted the US used to use TPLF as a Trojan horse to gallop in the Horn of Africa in general and in Ethiopia in particular for the sake of fulfilling their hidden geopolitical interests. He also added TPLF is a gang crew which had been working against African and Pan-African teachings. The former speaker further explained that TPLF has balkanized the Horn of Africa into small pieces.
TPLF has been, for a very long time now, I think since they came to power, the darling of the West, and it's been used against African interests or Pan-African interests in the region. And basically it was a fascist terrorist organization that brutalized the whole of Ethiopia and all the countries in the neighborhood, Eritrea, Somalia, South Sudan, Sudan, which is the Sudan Republic. It brutalized literally everybody, and for a very long time, and was the blue-eyed boys of the West, to be more specific, the Americans themselves.
Farah Maalim defines TPLF as a gang crew which used to obediently execute the U.S. interests during its reign. And he also describes as mercenary which existed in Ethiopian politics with the blessing of the U.S. He illustrated that what has been done in Somalia by TPLF would never be forgot. TPLF has brutally killed more than 600,000 ethnic Somalians, which is noted as a black history, he added.
Well, basically, they have been doing everything that the Americans and the West wanted. They went into Somalia unilaterally, invaded and occupied the country, killed more than 40,000 Somalis. Before that, they killed more than 60,000 ethnic Somalis in the Somali state. They did a similar thing in Amara region. They did a similar thing in Oromo region. There's hardly any region in Ethiopia, of all the regions that are there, that was not brutalized by TPLF. But the West was keen, and basically they could do what they want and get away with it. The same way Israel does what it wants in the Middle East and gets away with it. So this was the Israeli, what they call counterpart in Horn of Africa for the Western countries.
Different nations are insisting their people to leave Ethiopia as quickly as possible, and Farah Maalim articulated as it is part of proxy war waged by the Western nations against Ethiopia. Western media these days are reporting as if Ethiopia is in turmoil. He affirmed Finfinne is by far quite peaceful than Nairobi, where he lives at now. He further added there is more insecurity in Kampala, Johannesburg, Pretoria, Lagos, Cape Town than in Finfinne.
I have friends who live in Addis. It's more peaceful today. Addis is more peaceful than Nairobi. I worry about when I go out here with my car, whether I'm going to be carjacked or whether I'm going to be... a lot of things happen, and I have to have always consciousness of the security in there. There's more insecurity in Kampala, in Johannesburg, in Pretoria, in Cape Town, than you have in Addis Ababa, my friend. And nobody talks about that. In Lagos, there's more insecurity in Lagos.
Farah finally urged Ethiopian general public and the government to learn from Iran not to be destabilized by the US. The Ethiopian public should stand in unison in this very critical time so as to defend its democratically elected government and the country from distractors, he advised.
Independence has no cost. You pay for your life. Sanctions, right now, I understand there are going to be sanctions against Eritrea. Eritrea has lived under sanctions for over 20 years. The international court, they went to the international court, they got the judgment against Meles Zenawi and against what they call the TPLF those days. The international community could not even, support them. They were there on the other side, on the wrong side. Because they were on the wrong side from the beginning.